I think Bakewell Tart is one of my favourite desserts of all time. The almond taste really reminds me of autumn, so I thought that today we would bake it together, and then afterwards we can sit together, enjoy it, and have a bit of a chat. Let's get started on this bake. Now, I have done a lot of the work already off camera because last week when I was making the cheese scones, I think you already saw enough of me putting my hands into flour and butter and suffering. So I thought that I'd do that part already. So I've made my pastry case, I've baked it blind, and now we're going to fill it with the filling, make the filling, and then it will bake again. But all of the instructions are on my blog, nicholasfairford.com, for the pastry. It is quite simple. You just have to take your time and it works out pretty well. So yeah, now we're going to make the filling. What we do, by the way, is you take some raspberry jam and you put it into this tart here on the inside the case, spread it across, and then we put the filling on top and bake it. But first, let's make the filling. This is quite simple. We're just going to cream together some butter and sugar, and then to it we're going to add ground almonds, egg, and some almond extract. And then we just put it into the pastry case and bake it, and then after that we do the icing. So it is quite a three-step process to bake this, but it is worth it because it is absolutely delicious and definitely my favorite pudding, my favorite cake, one that if it's on the menu I have to have it. We're going to start by adding the butter and the sugar to the mixer, and we're going to cream these together until smooth and creamy. Next we'll add in the almond flour and the egg, and then we're going to finish it off by adding a teaspoon of almond extract, and then we're going to whisk this together until you get your batter. I made this icing using icing sugar, 2 teaspoons of almond extract, and a few drops of water. Again, the recipe is on my blog, nicholasfairford.com. So I am very excited to share with you the latest tea in my collection, which is almond tea. Now, as I said before, Bakewell Tart is one of my favourite desserts, and I really wanted to have a tea that would remind me of that and complement it very well. So we've brought out the almond tea. I'm so proud of this one, and I think you're gonna really love it. If you're looking for kind of a sweet tea that will satisfy that sweet tooth every day without indulging in too many calories, this is the one. And I've got to tell you that it is the most incredible scent I've ever smelled. Oh, it's just heavenly. I wish you could smell this through the screen. It is just gorgeous. So I'm very proud of this tea, and I think it's going to be loved by many people. I'm just going to read you the back, the label. This is an aromatic black tea blend with a subtle sweet taste of almond, evoking the taste of one of Nicholas's favourite desserts, Bakewell Tart. This wonderful blend is a tea time treat that will satisfy a sweet tooth and soothe you into a peaceful afternoon. The earthy, nutty taste is complementary to a cosy autumnal day sat in front of a roaring fire. So when I wrote that, I really wanted to evoke the memories and things that I like to do when I'm drinking this kind of tea, and I think that really captures the moment. It is perfect for an autumn day when you're sitting in front of a fire and you just want to have that relaxing moment of reflection. At the moment, this is definitely my favorite. It is beautiful. It's so refreshing. You can either have it black or just with a drop of milk. But even just the joy of opening up the packet every day and enjoying the scent, even if you don't have a cup of tea. I do that every morning now because this is right next to the kettle in my kitchen. I just have a little smell of it, and it really boosts me, lifts my mood, and just makes me feel so happy. So yeah, if you're going to try one of my teas, do try the new almond. It is perfect. And just please do be aware that, of course, this is almond, so it does contain nuts. So if you have anyone in your house with allergies, please be aware of that. But yes, this is a really beautiful tea, and I hope that you will enjoy it. So let's taste the Bakewell Tart. I am very pleased with how this turned out. It looks beautiful, and I have decided to put little cherries on each individual slice. I've just got a little pastry fork, and let's have a little taste. Mmm. Mm-hmm. So that for me is memories of childhood in taste, and then when you have a sip of the tea to wash it down, complement it, perfect. So for those of you that don't know, the Bakewell tart comes from a town in Derbyshire called Bakewell, which is actually a very beautiful place. And if you ever get to visit that part of England, I suggest that you do. It's a beautiful area in the Peak District, which is a national park, an area of outstanding natural beauty, and it is truly beautiful there. The natural scenery is stunning. And actually probably my favourite country house is located quite close. It's called Chatsworth House, which is the seat of the Duke and Duchess of Devonshire for hundreds of years, and it is kind of like a honeystone palace in the middle of the Peak District, which is quite incredible because you've got this gorgeous scenery of rolling hills, trees, and rivers and streams, and then rising out of the ground, you just see this golden palace, which is truly amazing to look at. It's not only beautiful from the outside, the inside of the house is also spectacular. They've got an incredible collection, and you can really view a lot of the house. In many of these country houses that you go to visit, you only get to see a few of the rooms, which I always think is disappointing. But with Chatsworth, you really do get to see a lot of the house and garden, so it is worth a visit. I really would love to go back before Christmas. They always have a Christmas fair, which is fun, so I think I'm going to do that this year. But yes, I'm very pleased with my Bakewell tart. It's been quite some time since I've made it, so I was a bit nervous, and because of all the little steps, it can sometimes be tricky, but yeah, this is wonderful. One of the comments that I get quite a lot when I make this type of video and set the table for two people, and then there's only me sitting here, is why do you set the table for two? And the reason is that I set it for my viewers. So I think it's nice for me to think that you are sitting here with me enjoying tea. And actually, this week on my TikTok channel, I talked about afternoon tea. As you know, it's one of my favorite things to do. So I just talked about the history, and it reminded me of the very first video that I created here on YouTube, which was all about the history of afternoon tea. It was first thought of as a mealtime by the Duchess of Bedford in the 1840s, and she felt that the time between lunch and dinner was too long of a gap and she was getting hungry, so she instructed her servants to bring her some cakes and sandwiches. She had it with tea, and she enjoyed it so much that she started to do it every single day and then invite friends over to join her for tea. In 1841, she invited Queen Victoria to join her for tea, and then the event was, of course, cemented as a great social connector. And I really do like the idea of that, of friends coming together every day, sitting down to enjoy very simple pleasures, but ones that will really boost and lift the mood. And I think tea time was kind of a very popular thing in the UK up until about the 50s. And then after that, it kind of died out, and people were too busy to sit down every day and have afternoon tea. But I guess that the beauty of these things is that because they're such a special occasion, it's not something that happens every day, that when you do it, it is even more pleasurable. But yes, even though, of course, I'm not going to be sitting every day having cakes and sandwiches, I do like to, in the afternoon, pause for a cup of tea. So I'm glad that I've got my new almond tea to do that now, because it is so refreshing and beautiful for the autumn and winter. So I don't know about you, but for me, it's been a very busy week. One of the things that I've been working on the most is my Christmas 2022 ebook. I don't know whether you remember last year, but I also released an ebook. It was my first Christmas ebook, and it was really well received. Everyone seemed to enjoy it. So I thought that this year I would completely start again and do a brand new one. And I'm very excited to share it with you very soon, because it will just be the great companion guide that you need for Christmas. Some of the things that we put in there last year were how to decorate the tree, how to set a table. We're going to be including those things again. This year I've got a brand new tree. I've decided that I'm going to go for a faux tree. Last year, and actually for the last 10 years, I've always had a real tree. But being single on my own, I found it was very difficult to get it in and out of the house on my own. Also, the central heating in this house, I like to have the house very warm, and the tree had dried out by the middle of December. So just for practical purposes, I have decided to have a faux tree this year, which I didn't think I would ever do, but I think it's just going to look a lot better and make my life easier as well. I've also got brand new decorations for the tree, which arrived this week. So yes, I'm very excited. I know it's early to talk about Christmas, but I'm seeing it everywhere now, and I just think that it will be here before we know it, so it's best to start preparing. So yep, we'll have the decorating the tree, how to set the table. I'm also going to be including lots of new Christmas recipes. One of the things that I'm most excited about is our new gift guide that's going to be included, which is going to be 100 gifts for everyone. So for him, for her, for cooks, for interiors enthusiasts. We've thought of everyone, and the gifts are pretty great. So I'm excited to be able to share that. I always need inspiration and help when I'm thinking of gifts, and I think that what we've done with this gift guide is really take our time to think of unique, beautiful things that people will really love. One of the things that I always say about Christmas is that yes, it's nice to buy gifts, but I hate to buy them when it's just a quick afterthought, and you haven't really thought about what you're buying, and then you just lump a load of gifts on people that they don't really need, and it's cluttering up their house, and they're not going to enjoy them. So I definitely like to really think about each person and get them something that they're going to treasure and love for a long time. So yes, I'm very excited about the gift guide. If you are signed up to my newsletter on nicholasfairford.com, you will get a notification soon to let you know when that is available to buy. The newsletter subscribers get first access to that. So if you want to join that, I would highly recommend doing so. Well, thank you so much for joining me for tea and conversation. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. I look forward to seeing you next time, but until then, take care. Bye-bye. The almond tea is now available on nicholasfairford.com.